What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at again with another video. So I'm gonna check out what is going on at AMG, the C63 update. Now, a lot of people are hoping that they go back to the traditional twin turbo V8 C63 instead of what we recently got with the inline four hybrid system. Granted, it's making some pretty good power for an inline four Mercedes, but at the same time, it's not the same. It doesn't have that same soul and essence. I know they were trying to get more into, lighter engines and stuff like that and using more of their hybrid battery system, but the consumers have not been wanting to buy those type of vehicles. And those the new C63s, the 4-liter C63s, they've just been sitting on the lots. I may have seen maybe a handful, barely if that, because nobody's trying to pay that much money for them, and nobody just wants an inline four. You want the traditional roar and sound of a C63 if you're a Mercedes fan. I know someone that has one of the older gen C63s, and when I tell you, it just sounds so beautiful and aggressive. It's just one of those classic iconic cars. So we'll see if AMG is going to go back to what made them, that brand of vehicle that fans could enjoy, the elegance but the aggressiveness of the retro C63. We'll see if they go back to that, or if they just decide to say, fuck it, we're still going to keep doing this and probably lose out potentially on millions of dollars in sales. See what happens.
I'll go over the chaos that's happening right now at AMG, and they're constantly changing direction at the moment, including a new reported C63. First, let's start with that recent press conference.
You saw last night at AMG that maybe we're kind of plugging some holes. So the resurrection of the V8, the brand new flat crank V8. I mean, who is insane enough to do something like this at this day and age? Well, the AMG people are. If you carefully looked at the chart that Michael showed yesterday, you could see that there were other ICE variants also in the AMG portfolio coming. So I would say on the ICE side, we're refreshing, renewing, and maybe tidying up the picture a bit.
AMG confirmed the development of a new V8 engine that is potentially to debut in the upcoming CLE 63. Plenty of photos and videos have been.
I do like the CLE 53, the new one that they dropped. It is such a beautiful looking car. Makes some pretty decent power as well. I believe it's inline 6, turbocharged inline 6. So I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing the CLE 63. It just, as long as it comes with the traditional twin turbo V8, they will be fine. I think they will make some good sales off of it.
Circulating of these prototypes running around the Nürburgring.
Yep.
This is great news because I like the new CLE with its wider, more aggressive stance.
I've seen one in real life. It looks beautiful.
And now finally it has a V8 to back the looks. That being said, the car is very quiet from the footage of these test cars.
Yeah, it is kind of quiet for it to have a V8.
This new M177 version actually uses a flat plane crankshaft where the crank pins are 180 degrees apart instead of the typical 90 degrees like basically every single AMG V8. The exception to this was the GT Black series from a few years ago. The problem here, in my opinion at least, is that the flat plane engine lacks the distinctive AMG cross-plane rumble. Just remember how much the sound was killed on the flat plane GT Black series.
Plus, they put them damn rev limiters in there, which I fucking hate. But over there, they it's crazy. I'm guessing it has something to do with emissions and sound and stuff like that. I hate that shit. That's why a lot of people end up, if they're into cars and want that sound, a lot of times people end up getting like a downpipe or, something done to the exhaust to really pull out that sound. Because, I mean, if you're in a nice AMG, you're going to want the sound and you want the rumbles and the pops when you're driving.
Compared to the muscular cross-plane GTR.
See, that sounds much better. So much better.
Certainly flat-plane engines do have advantages with higher revs and more responsiveness, so there is good reason why they are doing this. So a new development of the V8 is coming, but unfortunately it will likely have a bit of that 4-cylinder tone, which will be disappointing given the sound of the recent C63 was so hated.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we'll have to wait and see what they actually come up with. Fingers crossed. Now, speaking of the C63, what are the developments that we know so far? It's clear that sales are turning out to be disappointing.
For sure.
And the sentiment around the car is about as critical as you could get. Not really a good situation for a car that AMG seemed to be quite confident in and spent lots of time developing. Actually, driving the C63, it was good, but the 4-cylinder engine was a bit of a letdown. The car deserved something more special.
Yeah.
A V8 is what people really want.
I think I seen someone on Instagram with the new C63. They just took out the inline 4 and just put the twin turbo V8 in. That's literally what they did. They literally took out that engine, put the twin turbo V8 in, and it just sounded better, and it made sense.
And news has been back and forth over the past few years, with a V8 being reported but then denied for the C63.
Heard about that too.
Reportedly, the V8 is a problem for the W206 chassis because it was never designed to accommodate a V8 originally, and crash protection measures are often referenced. But anyways, it's pretty funny that somebody swapped in an M177 into W206.
I just said that. That's the funny thing. I literally just said that.
206. But now we're already talking about a 2026 facelift of the C-Class, and Autocar just reported that the C63 will be transformed with a new powertrain. Basically a new plug-in hybrid with a 3-liter inline-6 M256 engine, as we've already seen in the 53 models, but now with more power. It will likely produce around 500 horsepower and then over 650 in combination with an electric motor per Autocar's report. At least with what we know right now, there's no V8 coming for the C63.
Which, once again, them inline 6s, or especially the newer ones, they are very, very powerful. I want to say, is it the E53? I forgot which one. I believe it is the new E53 has the inline 6. It's making, with the hybrid system, I think it's making like over 600 horsepower. Like, they're putting in some good power in. I mean, it's a simple tune. You can make some really substantial power with stock internals. But if you're going to have the C63 moniker or whatever, the V8 makes sense, but it doesn't seem like they want to do that, at least for the C63 models anymore.
So an interesting move, and I think this is what people initially expected. Downsizing from 8 cylinders to 6 is easier to accept for customers than the move all the way right down to 4. So hopefully they'll get the balance right this time, and then the car can really challenge the M3. Another weird situation at the moment is, where is the E63? That's what many people are asking me, and the answer at the moment is that we're not really sure, as there is not much information yet. The situation is unprecedented. There has never been a new M5 available before the E63 rival, and it's looking to be a multi-year gap now with the E63 behind the M5, if it ever even happens. The response to the C63 was harsh, so I'm sure that they just delayed the E63 until they know it's something that will satisfy what people want.
Yep.
The E53 with its inline 6 is what's offered now.
Yep.
And I do appreciate the announcement of bringing an E53 wagon to North America at the very least. Nonetheless, I really do hope the E63 is not killed off and they come back with a strong offering, because the E63 is AMG's bread and butter model.
Yeah.
This is what they are known for, so I hope it works out. Ideally, they would focus on dynamics. Ideally, again, they would focus on an evolution of M177, not having the battery pack and hybrid system being too heavy, and I think that would be a recipe for success. So, a moment of chaos and uncertainty right now, but I hope course is correct. AMG needs to stick with their original focus of delivering exactly what their customers ask for, rather than telling them what they would like.
Yep, facts.
In the beginning, our philosophy to listen to customers was not really being implemented by any of the large manufacturers. Today, almost everybody does it inherently.
That's a harder task than ever with demands of emissions and noise regulations tightening, but it can still be done. I think the current M3 from BMW proves this, and certainly Porsche has been holding on as well. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.
This was a dope video, man. I'm going to link down the original video down below. That way y'all can go show AMG Meisters some love. You know, someone that's being a Mercedes fan, I definitely wanted to check this out because, you know, at one point I do plan on getting me a 63 model, most likely a GT 63 model. That's kind of the last Mercedes I want to kind of obtain in the future. But it's just one of those unfortunate things that it does not seem like they really care too much about the 63 models in the sense of putting out V8 engines like they normally do. I think they're probably just going to go with inline sixes, turbocharged inline sixes with a hybrid battery system, which is going to make some great power. Don't get it twisted. That new E53 makes ridiculous power stock. So that is going to be pretty interesting to see how it does. But at the same time, still not going to be the traditional V8 that fans have come to love, which means if you're in the market for the traditional AMG C63 V8, that you can actually find some, you know, online in a, you know, on the marketplace for a reasonable price with decent mileage, not crazy mileage, and I think that probably will be your best bet to go. So comment down below, let me know some other car related videos y'all want me to check out. I definitely will. I appreciate all love, support. Road to 20K, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.